I think this might be the most excited I've been for a VOD review this entire time. We have Powder Snow, the best Renekton career right now, sitting at a 61% win rate in Challenger. 61%. Have you guys checked? Renekton's win rate in solo queues like 46%. Something abysmal, and Riot can't touch him because if they do, his comp, play rate, win rate, ban rate, everything is going to skyrocket. This champion can't be touched. He can't be balanced. Renekton is an absolute menace. And to top it off, the cherry, the icing on the cake, everything involved, he's against THEBAUSFFS, obviously on his Korean trip right now, playing his Gragas top. We all know him for his Scion, but his Gragas is his second pick, his pocket pick. The Baus is known, I would even say his Gragas is better than his Scion, just because like the Scion strategy works, but his Gragas strategy is a bit more consistent. It works a little bit better. He's got crazy good Gragas mechanics. You've all seen the Gragas outplays on Synapse.
The bear is useless. Yeah, I'm gonna leave you, Ezreal. See ya.
I could not be more keen to jump into this gameplay, guys. Starting off, I'm going to just run over a few things really quickly. We have Ignite on the side of Renekton, so we're looking for those kills. Renekton has opted for Conqueror. We know PTA Renekton with Ignite is probably a little bit more favorable because Renekton doesn't scale that well. Obviously, Conqueror scales the better you go on throughout the game. PTA is better for lane dominance. Obviously, Renekton with Empowered W triggers the PTA proc straight away. So obviously very, very strong on Renekton as he leads with a Q. We're generating that Fury here still, walking up for absolute aggression straight away. The reason I'm so excited for this as Gragas starts W, very interestingly, dude, I've got so much to cover, holy shit. The reason why I'm really excited to watch this video and review this gameplay is because A, Renekton is my second most played champion after Riven. I've played Renekton for as long as I've played Riven basically, maybe like a season or two after, so I'm very excited to see how the rank 1 Korean Renekton is going to make this pick work. He feels very underwhelming compared to what he used to for me. So I'm very excited to see how he works. Secondly, Gragas is a really, really hard matchup for a lot of melees. Renekton obviously holds a little bit of range over most melees with his Q, can obviously be reaching over the wave. So the reason why Gragas is such a strong pick into a lot of these melees is because for Riven, for example, if Riven engages onto the Gragas is just going to like E into her and knock her away, and he can also W to mitigate a lot of the damage, and he has self-sustain. So the perfect counter to Riven and like a lot of melees. I know Set does okay into him because he can just E him back, or if you time the E perfectly, it'll just work. But this Gragas is, this Renekton is just really styling on him. As you see, the Renekton, which I love to see this, and I've been really practicing this in my games recently, he has an extremely conservative playstyle. He's taking these trades where he knows he's going to be taking minimal trade back. Gragas is just eating every ability with like literal basically no repercussion. Renekton can literally flash W Ignite here and Gragas will die. I'm waiting for it, honestly. There we go, 1E, and he's dead. That's just like that. The reason, like, that was so nice to watch. I almost want to go back and just review everything that he just did because it was just so nice to watch. Not one misplay. He just took 2 tower shots or a tower shot and he's like still 80% HP and he's just done an entire laning phase. Probably last hit about 80% of his creeps, gets first blood as well. That was probably some of the cleanest Renekton gameplay I think I've ever seen. And it might look like Bulse was just mispositioning, but Renekton just like spacing his Qs perfectly, didn't give the Gragas a window. This is just an absolute masterclass. I'm going to have to find some more gameplays of this guy because I've never seen him before, but oh my god. I'm not going to spoil any scores or anything. I'm not even going to say who wins. Maybe Renekton loses just because he's absolutely pissing on the Bulse. But we don't know. I've just seen this on League of Graphs that he was the #1 Renekton, and this gameplay specifically really appealed to me because it's against Bulse. Obviously, I've been keeping up with his Korea trip. I love watching the Bulse. I love his personality. I really think that he's finding really good success in Korea. He's matching the aggressive playstyle by just perma-fighting all the time. You love to see it, as we see Renekton goes in, doesn't use the Fury on the W there, still holds it. Gragas could be even dove here. Oh no, Rengar's on enemy ally team. The best thing about this as well is like none of the creeps are really going uncontested. this Renekton is just, if he's going to be eating an ability, he's going to be eating a Q for it. Sorry, if he's going to be going for farm, he's going to be eating an ability for it. This is really nice to see, actually. One thing that I want to opt for and just note about as well is Renekton has gone for the D-Shield start, which is very interesting to me because D-Shield with Ignite is kind of funny to think of because he just uses here. Ignite with D-Shield is kind of funny because Renekton, you want to kind of match the aggression with like a Doran's Blade. Obviously, Renekton has really good inbuilt sustain with his Q. Is Gragas dead here? No, he's not. He just knows when to back off, like immediately. Doesn't even go overtrade anything. I think if he just eats an empowered Q here, Gragas will die. Still takes it slow. Gragas has like infinite mana for some reason. I don't know why how this champion operates. Bal still has flash, walks him off the wave. No TP. So whatever he loses here is going to be pretty big. I would say Renekton's going to look to punish by pushing the wave back in. Dude, I've got so much to talk about. I'm actually pinging it. Dude, I've had the biggest day. I just finished a 30-minute cardio session where I did incline treadmill, and that was followed by... No, before that I did 2 workouts because I missed a workout yesterday. I got called into work. I've had a mammoth day today. I'm like pinging off pre-workout, sugar, carbohydrates, protein, everything. And I'm on 5 hours sleep and it's currently 11:19 and I woke up 15 hours ago. So I've been awake for a long time. I'm pinging. I feel like it's like the adrenaline that's just making me just go ridiculously nutty. So far, this has been some really, really clean Renekton gameplay. One of the things I wanted to touch on really quickly with this champion, if you're struggling to find success with Renekton, Renekton has one of the best laning phases in terms of his inbuilt sustain. So Renekton, one of the things that I kind of learned when I was picking up the champion, I used to watch RTO and SRO, is you could actually just play for sustain condition all the time. So every champion kind of has like a condition for how they will come out ahead in lane or how they will win lane sort of thing. So for example, with Renekton, as he's kind of getting soloed by the Gragas, he's going to heal up with his Q. He's missing the ult for about 30 seconds, so... Q? Unlucky missed that Q there. I think the Gragas eat it just perfectly. I actually thought he was going to die there. Gragas is just destroying him. Still has decent AP on the other side. Renekton always has sustained condition over most champions. So if you're low in this condition... Oh, balls! Damn, that was really close. Alright, he's probably going to... Oh no, Diego might die. Renekton has ult in 3 seconds. If he just plays this slowly, he can definitely turn this. Viago's going to get the reset. Alright, they just win this because Renekton has ult. Getting the flash out of the Rengar. Rengar can't kill anybody without dying himself. Wait, what was that? I was going to say, he just dies, you know? I keep getting interrupted. These Korean gameplays, man, are just like off the perks. Just people doing stuff all the time. Gonna look to push another wave. Obviously, we know Gragas doesn't have the TP yet, so pushing another wave continuously. Iron Spike with empowered Q is just going to clear waves instantly. You always have sustain condition on Renekton. So if you're just getting low, just Doran shield it up, stand your wave, Q for sustain, and just stand outside as you've seen this guy do so many times. Just Q over the wave. That's all you have to do, because the reason Renekton Q is so strong is because the ability is called a health swing, where the enemy champion loses HP and you gain HP. So it's like a very, very high efficiency spell. Obviously, you're going to have really good wave control over Renekton as well. So you can just play for sustain and health condition until you're fit for a dive. So in the way of Renekton, you'd probably be looking for just poke them with your Q, push them under the tower slowly, and then look for a dive with that Ignite. Empowered W, Q, whatever with Ignite. A lot of things can't really survive it. Gragas is one of the hardest champions to beat top lane as a melee. As we see, this Renekton is just absolutely dusting him. Got amazing spacing. I think like the reason I love watching this sort of stuff so much and why I was so excited is because I was like, how does this guy, as a 61% Korean Renekton challenger, like whatever, there's so much accolades to this guy, how does he make a 44% win rate champion still succeed despite not playing to the conditions of comp? So the reason Renekton is picked in competitive is because he has really specific conditions, and he has probably the strongest wave manipulation out of any champion in top lane, including range champions, because a lot of things that you have to consider in comp, and by comp I mean competitive or pro play, is that you can be dove. So a lot of things like Jace, which are really strong, they can still be built against, and then they could get dove, or maybe even like get skanked really easily. Renekton has really good sustain. He's hard to dive. He has good wave setup. He has good gank setup, so he can just stun and then like lead that into a Elise Q or Elise Cocoon, like whatever. Amazing wave control, so he can just push waves in basically instantly. Dude pretty much has perma-pro, pre-6. Like Renekton is just an absolute demon in competitive because junglers know how to play around him. He obviously falls off lately, but the entire idea is that Renekton generates such a lead from his really strong laning phase that it just translates so heavily into mid and late game. You see BAUSFFS maybe biting off a little bit more than he can chew. Does have the explosive cast. Maybe Gragas will look to push it away. But Renekton also has the flash out advantage here, so I feel like he's going to flash in 2 seconds. Just play patiently. Flash W. I feel like that was just going to happen in the end anyway. BAUSFFS has... So his champion pool is really unique in that any champion that he plays is like relevant regardless of how ahead or behind they are. So Gragas is obviously always going to be a really effective CC bot. That phase rush is really hard to deal with for a lot of champions. And he can just run away on basically any trade. Gragas does have the TP up, so maybe he'll TP back here. As I was saying on before, Gragas is really hard for melees to deal with because if a melee goes into trade, Gragas will just basically W to mitigate the damage. He'll heal up from it, he'll EU and QU, and then he'll just run away with phase rush. Not really any type of counterplay that you can employ as the melee. He's just going to wait till his CDs are up, and then, like as you just saw there, he just ease him off, and there's nothing really that the Renekton can do. I think Renekton's just winning because he's obviously at a 2-level advantage, and he has Gordrinka to a Fiendish Codex, Lost Chapter, and a Dark Seal. So Renekton just obviously just stat checking a little bit here with his item advantage and obviously his level advantage. It's been a really, like, as I said before, I keep doubling back, I've got so much to say. As I said before, it's awesome to watch Renekton players like this because it really kind of like opens your eyes to how a champion should and can be piloted perfectly. Or like as close to perfect as you can get, if that makes sense. So I think Gragas is just dead. It's so good to watch because you understand, like, for example, like I'll probably go play solo queue now, even though I'm like on 5 hours sleep and I'm pinging and I've had a massive day. And I'll just remember how he made this champion succeed, and I'll do the same thing and I'll make it work in my games. Like I'll try my hardest because my Renekton's win rate is like 40% or something ridiculously low. Like it used to be even higher than my Riven because my Renekton was pretty damn clean. But now, like, since all the nerfs and stuff and the fact that they've accommodated him really heavily to comp, and I just don't know Renekton that well anymore because I play Riven a lot more, his just win rate has fallen a lot for me. So watching a Renekton master like this play him so damn efficiently and so well really opens my eyes to how a champion should be played. In the same sense, I remember the first time I watched, like, Whippo play Set. I have touched on this before, and it just really, like, this was pretty much the first week that Set had been released. And it was so sick to watch because I'd never seen and had never even really considered playing Set at the amount of aggression that Whippo showed. So like level 1, for example, Whippo is just walking up like auto, Q, auto, like ignite, like in their face immediately, like crazy aggression. It was really cool to see. And like when I watched that, I was like, these are the kind of things that you should be thinking of when you're playing these champions. Like why, like kind of in a way, I did coaching with Vigar V2 and he was like asking me a lot of the time, like, why aren't you doing these things? Not as opposed to like, should I or could I? It's more like you ask yourself, like, why can't I do these things? Like when you think of the way that Set works, obviously he has a passive with 2 autos. He stacks up his Conqueror very fast. He has very good sustain damage. His spell rotation level 1 is very, very strong. And if you play Ignite, there's not much that beats Set level 1. Set can obviously start any ability level 1 to counter like basically any champion that he's against. So it's really, really good. Champion level 1, and I never really even considered that. So when I was watching Whippo, I was like, oh, this is actually like really eye-opening on different ways that I can play the champion. So when you watch someone like Powder Snow playing his Renekton, it's just really cool to see because you're just like, this is how the champion should be piloted, if that makes sense. So as you can see, Gragas is still an absolute menace. Like he's just so slippery, still really tanky, like really annoying. Even though he's 0-5, Renekton is 5-0-1. We have the Gordrinka going straight into the Merc Treads as well. I don't think Merc Treads is that great into their team, but the reason why it's so good is because Gragas' E is part stun as well as part knockup. So it really helps the Renekton stick to the Gragas when he's dead. When he E's and then like runs away. Like Renekton can get out of the stun faster and then E after him or whatever. As we see a flank coming across here, a bit of a middle skirmish. These are the type of skirmishes that are just going to win you games and where Renekton's early spikes can really translate into winning the rest of the game. Because Renekton obviously falls off so strong. So like in these instances where you're just like an absolute mammoth, you want to be controlling early game skirmishes. Going to take the entire top side now, I think. Viego's still chasing Rutan. BAUSFFS is just like kind of out of the game. I don't really know. Like he never really gives up because he's obviously very used to playing at such a deficit. But when you have a level 12 Renekton and a level 9 Gragas at 14 minutes in the game, there just doesn't really seem that much hope to go. It does seem like a little bit of a stomp, I'm not going to lie. But guys, I really implore you, if you want to learn a champion, find people like Powder Snow that play your champion to the absolute, like, basically challenger level, challenger limit, like whatever, and just really get an eye for how the champion can and should be played to get the most out of it. Like, you're obviously squeezing the most out of their kit, as Kai'Sa just decides she can walk up. as Renekton just stunned, basically Q auto ignites her and she dies. Renekton may die here as well. Renekton has his E up here. Yeah, okay, nice. So another lesson to take away from this as well is like, I wouldn't say this game was like close. We kind of have, oh no, to be fair, we have a pretty even lane map state around the rest of the map, as Renekton is just killing everybody because he's just so fucking ahead. Oh my god. If you look at the rest of the map, guys, so I'm going to kind of like bring something to your attention here and something that you should consider. If you look at the rest of the map, it's not that lost. Like you've got a 2-1-2 Kai'Sa, Yasuo, sorry, a 4-4 mid Kai'Sa, and then their top side is just in shambles. This is all transpired from Renekton. So if you're thinking to yourself, like, how come I can't win these games? Like, what's going on? If you think about if Renekton in this circumstance was like 0-0-0, 0-1, 0-2, whatever, their top side would be absolutely fine and the score wouldn't be 9-20 right now because Renekton has 10 kills. He flanked the Kai'Sa after killing the Gragas, came back around, just wiped everybody under their tower. Dude's probably got 2.5 items now. Gore Drinker, Death Dance. He literally just bought a Titanic Hydra off the rip. Okay. Another thing I learned, Titanic Hydra is really good on Renekton apparently because this guy builds it. Everything that transpired just from then is purely just from this Renekton absolutely ruining top lane. So if you think about it, the rest of this game could have gone very differently if Renekton hadn't have just completely dominated his lane. Because now he's just going to be an absolute raid boss, level 13, walking around with 2.5 items when everyone hasn't even finished their mythic yet. Like, Yasuo, who's the most fed on their team, is sitting on shield bow gold. Oh, he does go components first, to be fair. Everyone's got one mythic. Renekton's on 2.5 items. This is how to make your Renekton work in these games. You need to keep him relevant because he obviously scales very poorly. So keeping him ahead of the scaling curve in the rest of the game, obviously like a level 13 Renekton with 6 items would beat like a 6 item Yasuo at like level 11, for example. Just for example. Keeping Renekton relevant and ahead of the scaling curve in the game is very, very important. So obviously your 10 CS per minute you're going to be looking for. Obviously translating that really heavy lead that you work through for the rest of the map. He's obviously just destroyed top lane, come mid, killed everybody mid, and then the game's basically over because you just have this ridiculous Renekton now. So when you're thinking about, oh, these games seem so hard, like I'm losing, this could have been a lost game. If this guy was a shit Renekton, this game could have been lost easily. Like the rest of the map was fine. Yasuo was really ahead, or Yasuo was really strong, Kai'Sa was really strong. Obviously Rengar died topside, so that obviously, like when you think about in terms of the butterfly effect, Rengar dying topside there may have prevented like a double kill bot lane or something. So like when you think about the way that like the rest of the map works, like Rengar dying top lane could have really like ruined the rest of the... Oh. Wait, surely this is like a 1v5. Q? Dude. That one auto on Kai'Sa, holy... Oh, he's like just... This is in Korean, like probably not Challenger. This guy's Challenger, but like Bulls I think is like GM. I'm not sure what like everyone else is, but like bro Loopy isn't that a pro? I don't know Korean pros. Either still, like when you think about in the scope of the entire game, if Renekton hadn't have transpired his lead around the rest of the map so effectively, this game could have definitely been lost earlier because he's just wandered mid and killed everybody and just put so much pressure on the map. Everyone else had no choice. As I said before, if this Renekton wasn't as good, this game just could have been really easily lost or really easily turned into like a hard game. Obviously, Renekton's scale is a lot poorer than Gragas. Who knows? Something to keep in mind is like the butterfly effect of your actions after you finish laning phase. So this guy's obviously done an insane job at translating the map, translating his lead around the rest of the map. I think I wouldn't be surprised if this was like an FF at 20 or something like that. 14-0 on 3 Renekton at 18 minutes. That's obviously almost a kill a minute. Renekton obviously going to keep up while the rest of his team isn't on the map. Going to keep up his CS per minute to retain his lead. It's very important in these situations, guys, and I implore you to maintain discipline. Don't just go on 1v5, for God's sake. You're going to give 1k shutdowns. They're going to go 4v5 the rest of the map. They're going to get objectives. They're going to get back in the game. Don't for fun. If you want to climb, take the game seriously. Play with discipline. Lead your team. Take your map. When you're this ahead, you don't even have to fight. They're so scared of you. You can just go and like walk up. Like, look, Yasuo and Gragas have no choice but just walk away now. He's so tanky. Just eating 2 Nexus towers after like 2 ults. Bruh. This is like a 19-minute finish. No mucking around here. They don't have anything up. I don't really think that they can kill him, to be honest. They should still focus towers though. This Gragas will die. Just shreds a 2-item Gragas there. There's just nothing that they can do when they get this ahead. It's just game over from there. As we know, like Korea is obviously extremely famous for their like hyper aggression. Oh, the echo. Oh, almost dies. That's the game. That's literally the game. God, I had so much to talk about there. Dude, that was so much fun to watch. I learned so much. That's the entire experience. I want to teach you guys something. I want you to learn about the game. If you enjoy this type of content, please leave a like, sub, comment, feedback, all that kind of stuff. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.